So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this very well, but I'm going to turn the camera around and try and show you because it's absolutely gorgeous. We are headed up those hills there and everything that you can see around us here, if you can even see anything. There's the blue jay there. It's just fog. It is just fog, and it looks like our lovely little hill that we're headed up, and that's really not that high up there. Honestly, just to give you a bit of scale, a bit of perspective, we should be above this fog. So it's one of those mornings really where I'm not too sure what to tell you. I don't have a proper itinerary or anything. I'm just going to head up that hill that I tried to show you and just try and get above all of this. That is Black Fell there, just peeking above some of that mist, really living up to his name. It looks absolutely wonderful, I'm sure you'll agree. And yeah, it's just one of those, the conditions are tremendous. If we get some light, perfect, dream conditions, and that's something I want to talk about a little bit more as we move on. So I'm in the Central Lake District this morning, pretty close to Elterwater, and I always just feel like this general area is a safe bet when there's a fog forecast to actually get the fog. I'd say anything within a 10-mile radius of Ambleside, let's say. There's so many lakes, there's so many rivers, it's so wet around this particular area, and yeah, it generally does get the fog. Now this is a bit of a weird one actually, because I was saying before I wanted to talk about these sorts of conditions. Yesterday I've been playing around with my website a little bit, adding a few extra prints to my prints page ready for Black Friday. So I'm going to do a bit of a Black Friday sale. It's actually going to be on now, so there'll be a link in the video description if you want to go and check them out, check out my prints. But there was one particular photograph, I'll put it up on the screen, that for some reason I've never sold as a print, and as soon as I saw it, I remembered the image. You know that where it brings you, it takes you back to that very moment when you press the shutter button, and I love that photograph. I think it's one of my best, to be honest. So anyway, I put it on my prints website and I thought I was done with it, and then feeling all inspired by this image, I just happened to check the weather forecast for this morning. This was all yesterday, and it was forecast this. In the midst of all that inspiration. And yeah, there was only one place I was headed as soon as I saw that forecast, and that was out to the hills. And look at this, ladies and gents. I've got to give you a bit of a spin here. I don't know how much you can see behind me, but if we get light this morning, oh, I was going to say it's going to kick off. I'm going to kick off, I think, because we have got some serious ingredients for some good photographs here. And look at this, the expectations are through the roof, but it's one of those mornings, to be honest with you, where I don't really care. This is just so beautiful. Oh, the ground is so wet and boggy, and I am already regretting wearing this big down jacket, man. This one should be reserved for minus temperatures. It's going to have to come off actually, but golly gosh. One of the reasons why I love this particular hill is because it's such a versatile little vantage point. This that you're seeing behind me now is actually the other side of the fell, looking down towards the Grasmere and Rydal Valley, really. Absolutely unreal. It's looking even better down there. And then we've got this section where we've come from, looking down towards Elterwater. And then we've even got this little area here down towards Chapel Style, I suppose the start of the Langdale Valley. Just so much variety and so many different places to point your camera. Now the only problem this morning, because I mean, let's face it, it's landscape photography, there has to be a problem. It's never quite properly perfect, is it? But I mean, we've got cloud, which is a real shame, but it was forecast all the same, so I have been expecting it. I was just hoping that maybe around sunrise, or even anything up to an hour after sunrise, that we maybe just get a few gaps in the clouds and get some light down on this fog. But honestly, it's looking really thick, and any of that hope is, well, just that hope is looking very, very unlikely. Oh, this is so nice, and this is quite interesting, I think. As nice as it looks down towards Rydal Water and Grasmere, it's quite difficult to photograph, and I'll tell you why. And this will sound daft, and this will sound pedantic, but there's just a little bit too much fog, and although it's beautiful to look at, there's not really anything there. There's nothing to photograph. It's just a big ball of fog, for want of a better phrase. Whereas in this direction, looking back towards Chapel Stile, the fog is very translucent, again, for want of a better phrase or a better word, but I hope you know what I mean. The trees are peeking up through the fog. We've got loads of tiny little photographs right off in the distance, and if I've got this lens zoomed right in at the telephoto end, which I have, I'm in between 100 and 200 mil pretty much the whole time, I can just pick off all of them little photographs down there, and that is exactly what I'm doing at the moment. So I've been taking a few photographs down in this direction, and it is epic. I'll tell you why I love being on the top of a hill, having a vantage point, shooting down on temperature inversions, is because things just change so quickly. That fog is moving from right to left really fast, and it is just revealing subjects and revealing compositions. It is so friggin' epic. So I'll try and show you the sort of thing that I'm going for here. If you look there, hopefully you can tell this, but a couple of trees down on the bottom, and then just that tiny little area of trees in the top right hand third of the frame there. I just think something along those lines looks really, really cool. And that is exactly what I've had in my mind after showing you that photograph. I'll put it up again. Although, like I said, I don't want to replicate. Oh, things are getting nice. Things are getting nice in all directions now, ladies and gents. Anyway, oh, I'm on a mad one. I'll show you this photograph now. I hope that it came out all right. But again, I mentioned this in, I think, was it last week's video or a couple of weeks ago? It feels like it's got a bit of a painting, kind of classical painting feeling to it. So hopefully that comes across when you look at it. So when I was looking back at these old photographs that I'm adding to my prints page, where I've currently got a Black Friday sale on, I was looking at this photograph, which was taken with the drone, if you can't tell, at the southern end of Windermere on a beautiful, beautiful morning. And again, I was just looking at it and thinking, why do I never use my drone for stills photography? I don't think, when I'm out, I just don't think of it as a tool to take stills photographs. I'm always thinking about doing my videos and things like that as the fog rolls into where we are now. But I'll pop it up on the screen here. That is exactly what I'm doing now, and I'm hoping, probably just move back a slight bit. This is the sort of thing that I'm going for. You can see I'm trying to incorporate, obviously we've got all the beautiful fog off in the background, but I'm trying to incorporate a few elements. There's 2 or 3 here. We've got the little tarn on the right hand side of the frame, and I feel like he's balanced nicely with all them foggy trees on the far left hand side of the frame. And then of course we've got that lovely dry stone wall at the bottom of the image that's sort of leading us into all of that interest, all of that fog. So yeah, the image will be something like that. There it is, there's the final product. And yeah, it's even got like a 48 megapixel mode for taking stills photographs on this drone, on the DJI Mini Pro 3, whatever it is, which is quite cool. So it should look all right, it should look good. But yeah, I think that's quite a nice composition. And like I said, just good to get a bit of use out of the drone for some stills photography. So it really is worth, it's one of those mornings where it's worth me just staying in one spot. I've got the right lens, don't know why I'm pointing to my bag, because it's in the hip pack. You all know that by now. But yeah, it's just, there's no point in moving on, because I'm in the perfect spot to just use this long lens and just pick off different photographs. Plus on top of that, I'm enjoying it. I love it. I don't need to move on anywhere else because I did have some plan Bs, which I might get onto in a little while. I'm still not too sure, but I'm sure you'll agree. Look at this. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I think there's more fog now than there was when I first started out. And I hear myself talking about fog a lot on a bit of a side note, but I think that's quite interesting. The reason I think it's interesting is because sometimes I get a bit annoyed with myself. I'm like, oh, I'm obsessed with fog. I need to relax. Expectations are too high. Yous are probably sick of me hearing me talk about fog. But the thing is I do absolutely love it. And I've had some of my most joyous moments of my life, honestly, out with my camera, chasing this stuff, this ominous stuff, this fog, these temperature inversions that really, one of my favourite things in my life. Doesn't that sound a bit sad? Fog. But honestly, I like live by it. I'm always checking the weather forecasts, and anytime there's fog I start getting really excited. I feel like my personality changes. I get like itchy feet, I want to get out, fear of missing out and all of that, and I love that. You know, I won't beat myself down for that sort of mindset because this is nothing more than one of nature's spectacles. And for me, to be in love with something like that, I think it's such a brilliant thing. And I've mentioned this before on this YouTube channel, but I feel like as human beings, as animals, as emotional animals, we're supposed to love this sort of stuff. We're supposed to feel inspired by it. We're supposed to be up in the mountains looking down at this spectacle and just being full with like inspiration. And I don't know, all I'll say is I hope nobody's near me on this mountain so they've heard me talk that load of waffle. Anyway, as you can see, we've come to a little bit of a different spot here. I was just quite interested to check out some of these crags, maybe to see if we can get some different types of photograph, maybe a bit more wide angle to use these as foreground. So we'll see. So I came around this little area here, I suppose primarily to try and get a bit of a view of, a bit of a better view I should say, of Grasmere down there, the lake. How autumnal is it still, by the way? This is mega. What are we today? It's like November the 15th or 16th or something like that. It is quality. So you can see the fog isn't going anywhere, especially over in this direction, which I'll show you now. And this is where I'm trying to get an image here. So I'll show you how I'm trying to compose this photograph right now. So I was hoping to get an image over in that direction where I've just showed you with Grasmere and Rydal Water, but for now I just couldn't quite make it work, and this is what's appealing to me so much. We've got Loughrig Fell up there, and I think it's like the layers and layers of crags, and then when we include the rocks down here in the foreground as well, it just starts kicking off. So I'm trying to use all these layers to my advantage. I'll just focus down there in the foreground, and yeah, I'm not sure really. I'm going to play around with a few different compositions, but something along those lines there. I might stop down a tiny bit more. Yeah, let's go f7.1 because this rock is quite close to us and we're not focus stacking or anything here. But yeah, I love the layers, and we've even got that little tarn just there that we had when we took the photograph with the drone. So grab that now. We're just in aperture priority. I should say as well, I'm using a new lens here. I'll talk about this in a second, but I'll grab this one now. There we go, that looks all right on the back of the camera. It looks like it's got, I'm not sure, like maybe little bit of a sort of otherworldly feel that the fog is bringing in with all of that atmosphere. And yeah, I don't know. I'll take a few different ones here and see if I can improve on that. So yeah, as for the lens, I probably should have mentioned that. A lot of you will know that some of my videos are sponsored by MPB, and they've always said to me, Henry, if you want to lend any gear off us, just let us know. So obviously it is such a massive privilege. I'm so grateful for that. What a treat. I could just email them and they'll like lend me stuff to try out. And until I got this camera, I've always said to them, nah, I'm not really that bothered, thanks but no thanks sort of thing, because I was happy with my Nikon Z7, I wasn't bothered. But I just wanted to try something a little bit wider on the OM5, because of course I've got the 12-200 lens, but I just wanted to see how I'd get on with a wide angle lens. So they sent me this for just to test out for a bit. It's a 9mm, it's actually a Panasonic Leica f1.7 prime lens. So we'll see how it gets on. That's the first shot with it, but I'll have to send this back in a couple of days anyway, but I might end up buying it. We'll see. Right, what to do next? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I was thinking I might go down. Oh, I was thinking I might go down back towards where the van's parked. Down, you can see Elterwater down there, hopefully off in the distance, but I don't know now. It looks like a lot of it's clearing, and see, you've got this little tarn down here once again, and I don't know, it just looks beautiful with the reflections. I might try a quick composition round here, one final one up on our little hill, and then I might start making my way down. I still don't know. I'm none the wiser. So I'm just going to grab another shot here. I think I am probably going to head down. I still haven't really decided, as you could probably tell by the tone of my voice, but yeah, I'm going to grab a shot here. And again, just trying to use these layers of all these crags. I don't remember it being so craggy up here, but it's definitely a bonus. This is brilliant. So yeah, I'm just going to focus down here in the foreground. I'm going to keep it at f7.1, just so that the background's going to be nicely in focus as well. And let me, f7.1, 1/40th of a second, there we go. I just want that tarn up there on the top right hand side. There we go. I think that looks all right. And then I might try a little bit of a panorama as well, because I'll just show you here. If you look down to, that's Elterwater there. If you look down here, all these beautiful autumnal woodlands that are just dotted about. And I think if I have the image on the left hand side, incorporating all of this, and then just sweep around maybe as far as Elterwater, I'm not too sure. I'll pop that up on the screen there. That's the pano, obviously just handheld, all in manual of course, focus down in the foreground, kept the focus the same all the way through, and I think that's probably going to be a decent shot, because I think it's a good idea to try and get a bit of a sweeping vista of this beautiful landscape. And look at that there, back up towards Weatherlam. That little area there is just sensational. I'm still debating whether or not I should go down or not, you know. So I'm going to stay up here for a little while longer at least, because it's this telephoto stuff. It'd be daft not to. I mentioned this vista a second ago, back up towards Weatherlam and Swirl, Howe and Blake Rig, and look at this like mid-ground section here, down in the valley where we've got so much of that fog still, but it's perfect because we've got, in fact, it is actually perfect. I mean, perfect to be with a bit of side light, wouldn't it? Excuse me, but we've got a lot of like autumnal trees peeking up through the fog, which is actually helping to give the image a bit of vibrance, even though there's no light. So it's lovely. But I'm zooming in on that section there, back up towards Weatherlam, all the like kind of swirling sections of fog up near Swirl Howe, like I said actually, and yeah, the trees that are just sort of protruding up through the fog as well. Absolutely brilliant. That is my favourite of the bunch, because I've been firing off dozens of photographs in that direction, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be one that's my favourite. But you know what, I absolutely love this type of landscape photography. It is so much fun. So I've decided against going down. I don't really think there's any point. I just think I'm in the perfect place to take photographs. So I'm just going to stay up here for the time being and just keep changing my vantage point, I suppose, getting slightly different perspectives on telephoto compositions. And I just think it's the wise thing to do, to be honest, as a landscape photographer, to try and increase the amount of good shots I'm going to get. So I've just eyeballed a hill, a fell, this little one here, I don't even know what it's called, in the mist, which is moving all the time. So it's not like I'm going to get up there and be stuck in a load of clag. And yeah, just I think that'll be a good bit of a higher up vantage point. We might even get some views down into the Langdale Valley as well, which would be nice. So something a little bit different. So we'll go over there now, and I suppose just wait and see what it has to offer. So already we're getting some beautiful, fresh perspectives. This was definitely the right decision. Back over towards Black Fell again, or Black Crag, and just made for telephoto photography, man. Absolutely beautiful. So there's just, again, these like layers and layers of trees. Quickly smash it in aperture priority mode here. Grab that one. There we go. It's lingering so much, this mist. I mean, what time is it now? 9:45, man. 9:45, it's almost sunset. No, it's just lovely. It is just lovely, and I would be daft to go back to the van just now. So yeah, I'm going to continue on my way up to our fell, which I still don't know the name of. I'll find out when I get up there. See if we get any more fresh perspectives. I just can't help myself. I just cannot help myself. Taking another few photographs right back in that direction, past Elterwater, almost looking right back to Windermere, ages away. But again, with the telephoto lens, I just got whatever I'm showing you there, because again, there was a couple of dozen shots fired off in that direction, and it's just awesome, man. You know what, I think I mentioned briefly earlier, I wasn't even meant to come out this morning. It was one of those mornings where I just like, it doesn't happen to me that often, but I just woke up really early, about 5 AM, for no apparent reason, and I'd already checked the weather forecast, and I thought, I might as well go out now. Might as well go out with my camera, and boy, am I glad that I did, because even if I went home now, I'd be delighted with not only the photographs, but just the experience that I've had this morning. This has been absolutely amazing. What is that bird? Who is this? Come with me here, ladies and gents. See if I can show you this little, who's that? Who are you? I don't know. Come back. Oh, you probably didn't even see. I think, is it a, I'm not even going to try. If you saw him, please let me know in the comments. I was going to say a grouse or a pheasant female, but I'll leave it to you. Oh, I think we're at the top of our hill. Oh, lovely. I think I'm going to have to fire off a few more shots in that direction. Same as before, because it's just changing so much. Every time I look over my shoulder back there, it looks so different. So one thing that I think is really important when you're doing this type of photography, telephoto lens, picking off smaller little images right off in the distance, is, and it sounds really daft and really simple, but you've still got to compose a photograph. You know, I'm not just throwing this telephoto lens down into all that fog and all that forested area and hoping for the best. And the main thing that I'm still trying to think about in terms of composition is balance. So I'll maybe find, I'll pop it up on the screen here, see if I can find something. So like down there on the bottom left, see you've got that dark, battery's just run out on this. Friggin' hell. So new battery in, as I was saying, hopefully the mist is still quite similar, but yeah, I feel like that section of darker, that clump of darker trees down on the bottom left there, I think there's 3 of them, just holds quite a lot of weight. And then obviously the top right of the image, you've got like quite a bit of open space. So I feel like in this case, it's quite a nice balance, you know? And then you've also got a strip of the fog on the top of the image and a strip of the fog on the bottom. And it feels quite pleasant. There's quite a nice flow to it, you know. And these are the things that I'm trying to think about when I'm zooming right off into the distance. Sometimes I'm like centralizing one little tree or something like that, trying to make him a bit of a focal point, and everything is happening around that one tree, that one subject. But yeah, mostly, and to try and simplify it even more, I'm trying my best to think about visual weight. How is that image balanced left to right and top to bottom, you know? Really, really important. So I just wanted to mention one last time that I am having a Black Friday sale on my prints. So big discount. It's only going to last for the next 3 or 4 days, just over the weekend, basically, from when this video is released. And for anybody that decides to purchase one of my prints, even though there's a massive sale already, I will chuck in one of my calendars for you as well. How about that? So yeah, it's the best sale that I've ever had on my prints. It's not going to last long, so if you've ever wanted to buy one, now's probably the best time, the cheapest time. And I would be so grateful for any support, as always. And yeah, I look forward to sending some of them out to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this morning's frantic photo shoot. It's been a mad one. I mean, it's still looking beautiful, but, and you know what I'm going to say? I'm hungry. I want to get down because I want to go somewhere for a little bit of breakfast, just to top off the morning, like unreal. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you on the next adventure. Out.